Why a good plasterer is worth the money. Look at this room. State of the ceiling. It's obviously been boarded at some point. A lot of that plaster has come down for whatever reason over the years, and when they've started stripping it, some of it's still stuck like rock. You've got bare brickwork there that needs a render on it. You've got bits of old cornice that the clients left, thinking that when they cove it, which is their plan, that it will cover that, but there's not a chance that the coving is going to cover that. It looks like it might in this video, but when you saw it close up, it stuck out a mile of the original stuff, and it's not something that could stay. Now, when you look at this kind of work, there's nothing anyone but a plasterer could really do with a room like this. Yep, some guys might be quite good at boarding, I'm talking like DIYers and stuff here, but you can't dot and dab everything on the job. Now, I have got another video where I'm doing this particular bit of wall at normal speed, so you can watch that and how I plaster around the socket. Again, plasterers worth their money. A lot of people will tell you, and I have to agree with them, that it is an art form and a skill that you pick up and get better at as the years go by. I mean, one of the good reasons that this stuff spreads on so well is because I know how to mix it, what kind of thickness, how creamy to get it so that it goes on lovely. If you don't get your mix right, you're going to have a right hard time spreading this gear. But yeah, we're worth the money. This render's got some, it's got quite a lot of waterproof in it because there was a damp issue initially on this wall, so it had to have a render on it. There's no way really it could have been done with bonding or hard wall, or definitely not dot and dabbed. That was a fair old thickness to bring it back out to where the original window frames were, to make them flush. I tend to, when I'm rendering like this, get a bit of a coat on there so that I can build up to the corner and then plant my bead into that, which you'll see in a moment that it's quite an easy way of putting it on. Sometimes you can just build up the corner and plant your bead into that first, but I find doing it this way is a lot easier. Get the scratch on and carry on with that other bit of wall. Now, to become any good as a plasterer, you have got to be doing it a fair old while, and yeah, obviously the faster that you get and still supplying a quality job to the customer, you're worth every penny that you charge. Over the years, I don't know, it used to be a kind of a trade that was was respected, not by bricklayers or or decorators, but generally, and it's got a little bit of a bad reputation here and now because of because a lot of guys that can only do dot and dabbing or skimming. Not that there's anything wrong with those. If you can do those and you can do it well, that's great. But generally a plasterer, as I was taught to, apart from doing solid work like this, do cornice work, how that's made up, either on a bench or up onto the walls, how to float and set with bonding plasters and with sand and cement. Yeah, all manner of things, floor laying, tiling, it all came under the remit of a plasterer. Now here we've just got the old devilled up top coat that went on. And this of course needs to be left for at least 12-24 hours before you'd even consider really putting a skim over the top of it. But anyway, that's a nasty part of the job done, unless you really love rendering, which I don't mind it, but personally, yeah. Right, now at the top here, you can see again the state of the ceiling and the original cove that they've left at the top of the bay there. There's no way I was going to be able to do anything with that. And the rest of the walls, I've seen a lot worse than these particular ones. But this up here, it's got to come off. Now originally I didn't realise that is a plasterboard underneath as well. But while I was hacking out the front, I thought I'd give it some support and get this bit out, because there's no way you could do anything over the top of this stuff. I mean, it had it anyway. The old lard and plaster. Some guys have asked me whether you can just put bonding straight back over this. I have done it in the past, but you can, especially with new plaster work now. I mean, it's a lot easier and quicker to put some plasterboard over the top of it, and you know it's going to be okay. Whereas if there is any bad expansion or cracking could occur if you try and go straight onto lathes, even if you treat them first. Here's where I've had to take the rest of the coving down around the room, which was quite time consuming, but I'd allowed a good price to do this room, so I didn't mind doing that. Generally, guys, if you've got to do something massive like that, though, make sure that you're allowing for it in your price. There across the top there, I've used bonding over the top to fill that gap around the edge. So now we've got something a lot more square that we can work to when we're finishing the ceiling and when we hit those walls. You can see where there was uneven surface where the plasterboards had no skim on, were butting up to ones that still had some skim on. So I took all those edges out, feathered those all in with the bonding coat. Then of course on top of that, once it is dry, the old PV8, and then a nice old set over the whole lot. Lovely job. And we've got a nice flat ceiling, and it's nice and secure because I checked it all beforehand. Of course, another thing we're good at is going around sockets. Now in this situation, the internet could not and must not be turned off. So apart from working around a socket that's still on the wall, which isn't my ideal scenario, to work around it when it's still got plugs plugged in it is an absolute pain. But any good plasterer have the tools and the know-how to do it. All the fun of the fair. Okay guys, here's a couple of the walls done, and then that just leaves the chimney breast walls and the sand cement render to go over, and then voila, got a lovely room at the end of it. Now by 2025 apparently plasterers are going to be really thin on the ground. There's a lot of tradesmen, so we're worth the money. It's a good job. There's still plenty of work out there, and it looks like there's going to be a lot more. Thanks guys for watching, for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one, and I'll see you at Ask the Plasterer.